Mike here with Camp and Co Construction. We are doing a video on tool belts and tools and what we carry in our rigs, why we have them set up the way we do. We've had a couple people ask, so here's your video coming at you right now.
Okay, let's go.
All right, guys, so first thing I want to touch base on, this stuff is used and used hard. You don't buy these sweat rings. These are earned. All right, we've been working in the heat. It's brutal out there. These are going to get washed shortly after this video. So anyways, what we're rocking here, we've got the Cirro suspender system from Diamondback. They were nice enough to hook us up with a fresh set of Cirro suspenders not too long ago, along with a new tempo belt to go along with the Cirro suspenders. Really like this belt system and the suspenders. Big upgrade from the previous stuff that we had. The other stuff wasn't bad. It was just a little bit dated. This stuff's just a little bit more functional. The curvature to the suspenders, they contour the shoulders a little bit better, make it a little bit easier, less material up there, a little bit more breathable. The belt is just super comfortable to wear. I can literally wear this all day long and not get tired of wearing it. So huge shout out to Diamondback for hooking us up with those. On the bag system on this side, so this would be my right side, I'm running the Elias Diamondback pouch. So this is where basic hand tools go, knife, markings, tips, other stuff. We'll go through each bag in detail here shortly. On my left hand side, I'm running the Diamondback Wrangell pouch. This is where fasteners are, speed square, some other miscellaneous hand tools, torpedo level, you know, bunch of fasteners and whatnot. This is basically my fastener side, and then try to keep most of my hand tools on this side. Speed square on this side, tape measure on my left side. I like to be able to grab my tape, grab my pencil or marker, whatever I'm doing, mark it out, throw my tape back with my pencil still in my hand, grab my speed square and mark my straight line or angle, whatever I need to do. That's why I prefer to keep my tape and my speed square on my left side. I know some people do it differently, but that's just how I like to do it. So let's dive into each pouch individually and see what we've got as far as hand tools, fasteners, all that good stuff. So starting on the right side here, very top, chalk box. This chalk box can vary depending on exactly what we're doing. I like to carry a red chalk box for the majority of our stuff, but once we get into more finished decking and stuff like that, and we're marking out cuts with the track saw for the picture frame or inlays or anything like that, we'll switch out to a blue chalk box. I've actually seen quite a few people running white baby powder in their chalk boxes for stuff like that. It washes off really easily and it's cheap. Haven't tried it yet, but you may see that in the future. I don't know yet. We'll see if we're influenced enough to try that. So anyways, chalk box up top here. Moving down, we've got the hammer holster. Before I got this pouch set up, I had an old leather Occidental pouch, and I'd wear a big Klein bolt bag on the back of it, and that's where my hammer would go. Once we switched to the hammer holster on the side here, this thing is a game changer. So comfortable. I was kind of worried about the hammer sitting on my hip all day long, but to tell you the truth, I don't even notice it. And just boom, quick draw, you know, quick draw like that 6-shooter. So moving on from there, we've got a couple Pica pencils. I've got graphite in one. I've got colored lead in the other. This one varies. It just depends on my mood for the day. This one's red right now. Always keep a carpenter's pencil handy. Always keep an extra one. This one, in case you drop any one of these, you always want to have an extra. Also, I use this to chalk up the guard on our framing saws. Sometimes the guard gets in the way when you're cutting thinner material, stuff like that. So we'll chalk the guard up out of the way, make our cuts, pull it out, and then throw that back in the pouch here. I've also got a Sharpie. Again, one Sharpie here. I also keep a Sharpie up here on my suspenders. I like to have extras just in case I drop something. If we're working up high, drop something, I've got another one ready to go. blade, box cutter, whatever you want to call it. Stanley 99E. Keep extra blades in there at all times. Blades go dull really fast depending on what you're doing. What else do I have in here? I've got a tick tracer for electrical stuff. I'm a former electrician, almost 12 years as a union electrician. So I always keep one of these with me just in case I need to move something or rework something real quick. It's not, a big deal. I can test it real fast, make sure it's either de-energized or make sure it's energized so I know what I'm working on and how I need to work with it. Safety is a big thing. Always keep a pair of dikes with me for cutting stuff, needle nose pliers, and these are referred to as lineman's pliers, made by Klein. I don't know why they're called lineman's pliers. I'm not, maybe, linemen out there, you can chime in. Is this something that you guys use a lot? I don't think so. I was a inside wireman previously. We use these a lot. I always used to joke I could build a house with a box of nails and a pair of lineman's pliers. So I always keep these, either these or a pair of channel locks in my pouches. But normally it's these just because I'm more comfortable with these. So use them quite a bit. Flathead screwdriver. It's good for a mini pry bar. It's good for, chiseling. You can see I beat the back of it pretty good. Just anything you can think of, pretty much, we use a flathead screwdriver for. I use that quite a bit. So moving on, we've got this little pouch right here in between the bags. I like to stick my phone in there while we're working. It gets it out of my pocket. That way, if I get a phone call, it's easily accessible. I can grab it. I also usually clip my headphones on my bags in there, and headphones usually ready to go. That way I can take calls as needed. I do run a small business. I don't have a big team behind me, so I'm usually the one fielding the phone calls, the emails, the text messages, all that good stuff while I'm out in the field building. So moving on from there, I keep some short screws in here. These are usually like 1 5/8 1.5 deck screws. I prefer everything to have a T25 head on it. I feel like they just drive a lot better. They're easier to work with. Not a huge fan of Phillips tips. So a lot of our fasteners will be the Torx head screws, whether they're T25s, T30s, T40s for the bigger structural screws, anything like that. Moving down in that same pouch on the front here, I really like this for organization. It holds all my tips, so we'll go through these real quick. I've got a T15. These are just some of our basic fastener heads that we run into. Got a T25. Got a T30 once we get up into the bigger structural stuff. I've got a T40, and I do always keep a Phillips tip on there. Drop a comment below if I'm missing something, if you guys think I should be carrying something else or in addition to the tips that I do carry. I do have some stuff on the other side, so stay tuned for the whole video before you make your judgment calls. Moving down, this pouch right here actually has a Velcro cover thing on it. I don't ever use it, but it's there in case you do. It usually sits right in there. It Velcros down inside of itself anyway, so it usually just stays like that. This pouch is kind of a catch-all. Could be trash in here from depending on what we're working on. Miscellaneous extra tips that I don't normally carry up here that we might be running into on a specific job. Right now, I've got some electrical tape because I was moving some electrical stuff around on our current job. So I was taping stuff off, marking stuff. Instead of having black electrical tape, usually I'll try to run some variation of a color, whether it's red, blue, white, green, something that I can mark on with a Sharpie so that I can label stuff. So sometimes that'll be in my pouches, not always though. Something that's always in here is my right angle driver. This thing comes in handy. If you guys are staying updated on our Instagram and TikTok and Facebook accounts, you've seen that our current job, we have framing that's very, very tight to a stem wall in between a swim spa. So this has come in really handy. This usually always stays in this pouch right here. Some other miscellaneous tips. This is another T40 with a security pin center in it. This is a T15 for Cortex Torx head screws. It has the felt bumper on it so that it countersinks the head into the decking, and then you can run your color match plug in there. So if you've ever wondered how you run face mount screws and hide them with the plugs, these are the tips that you use for them with the Cortex kits. Usually the Cortex kits come with a handful of these, so I've got tons of them. I usually try to keep a couple of them in my pouch here, just so if I need them, I have them. On the back side here, we've got stair gauges. These are a newer addition. I've always kept stair jigs on my pouches. I used to have an old brass set that I would pin up here. These are a newer addition by Squi jig, made in the USA. They are in combination with my square that's over on this side. New addition, Squi jig. You already know we had the custom engraving on it. Same with the, I don't know if you can see on the stair jigs right there. Matching set though, just, something a little bit bougie. Really great product. This thing, I mean, you can feel it. All aluminum, super solid, straight edges, got the level in there. Ever since I got this thing, absolutely love it. Can't say enough good things. Thank you, Squi Jig, for getting these for us. They're not cheap, but good tools are worth it. So these I usually clip on back here. There's another little band right here, so the holder just kind of clips on right there. It's easily grabbable. I can pop them off, and when we're building stairs and stuff, lay out my stairs. So I think that's pretty much everything for my right side pouch. Not too much really goes down in this pouch. It's usually just hand tools, any overflow stuff. If I've got a pair of metal snips or something that I'm working with, I'll throw those in here, or wire strippers again if we're redoing some electrical stuff. But this is my everyday carry setup pretty much for this side. It doesn't really change hardly at all, aside from sometimes electrical tape, sometimes some different pliers or cutters or anything like that. But for the most part, this is how it looks every single day. So moving on to the other side here, we'll go through this side. Again, I like to run my tape on my left side. I like to be able to grab my tape, throw it out, grab my pencil, make my mark, put my tape away, and with the same hand I can grab my speed square, mark my line, whether it's an angle, straight, whatever it needs to be. Torpedo level, really like this. This is made by Klein. Gosh, I've had this thing for, I don't know, probably 10 years. Love this level. Hope I never lose it. Hope it never breaks. It's about a 9-inch level, 8-inch, 9-inch level. Perfect right there. We went over the square already. I keep it right here in the square pocket. I've got a mini square also. This one's not by Squi Jig. Haven't made that purchase yet. That'll be coming eventually though. I'll have a matching blue and black mini square. Right now we're just running the Johnson Levels mini square. Chisel, a good wood chisel. This is something that I started carrying probably a year or two ago religiously. Having a good 1-inch chisel, you can do a lot of different things with these. You can obviously clean up cuts. If you're cutting a notch in something with a circular saw, you can make your cut, and maybe you need to clean up a couple edges or something like that. Just depends on the level of detail you're kind of working with at the time. But the reason I really like carrying a 1-inch specifically is because on the Stanley Fat Maxes that we run, your, I don't know, tape measure tip, whatever it is, that's a 1-inch. That's a 1-inch tip right there. So if you're marking or laying stuff out either on a wall or a ledger board or anything like that, which we do often, sometimes Kale's doing something else, I'm laying stuff out by myself. What I can do is take my 1-inch chisel and my hammer, and I can hammer a notch in the top of the ledger board where my first layout is. Then I can put this away, and I can hook my tape measure, the tip of my tape measure, in that notch, and it'll stay there, and I can pull my layout down the ledger board while Kale's off doing something else. So just a little production tip. I don't remember where I learned that from. It was probably a video on social media or something like that. I'll tell you what, I've learned a lot on social media. But anyways, yeah, good 1-inch chisel. You can do a lot with it, a lot of different tips and tricks. A scratch awl. I actually took this and I ground a really fine point on this when I was doing some metal sheet siding on a pole barn style build. Put a really fine point in it, did all my layout for my screws, and then I'd punch all my screw holes. It's a lot faster than pre-drilling. I learned that, I think it was Kyle from R&R Buildings. He talked about that in one of his videos. So that stays in my bag because you can do a lot of different stuff with this. Also, you can do layout or snap chalk lines by yourself. You can put this in a piece of wood, hammer it in there, get your tip on your chalk line on there, stretch it out, snap it, you know, if it's a really long run. So good tool to have. You can also mark stuff if you need to on concrete, on stem walls or anything. You can kind of scratch a mark in there if you need to in a pinch. What else do I have in here? I've got a spring-loaded center punch for laying out, you know, on metal stuff or dimpling, anything like that. Aluminum railing. We do a lot of aluminum railing, steel railing. So if I need to mark center on a hole or something like that, got my spring-loaded center punch here. This pretty neat tool right here. Really like this. I got this maybe about a year ago. It's got a 5/16 on one side. You can pop this off. This is actually magnetic. You can flip it over. Now you've got a 1/4-inch head, and it's about a 6-inch extension. Really handy to have. I always keep this in my pouches. What else do I have? I've got a 6-inch square drive. This is handy for sometimes on our blocking. If we're doing really long straight runs of blocking in our framing, we'll run pocket holes instead of trying to nail it. It just helps keep them a little more straight. So this is nice to have, so you can run either the squares, or I also have a T25 6-inch that, you know, that way we can run 3-inch decking screws through our blocking and the pocket hole screws that we've done. This doesn't get used all that often. Probably don't need to keep it in my pouches, but it's just been something that's always been in my pouches. It's a spade bit, anywhere between a 1-inch or a 3/4. Again, wireman background, done a lot of wiring. Usually we'll get into some sort of framing job and it's like, oh, we need to move a plug or add something. The customer wants to add something. Yeah, I can throw a plug in real quick. I can use this and I can drill through framing members and run Romex through there really easily. So just being a former wireman, this is always in my bag, along with, you know, some other stuff like the tick tracer and whatnot. Old habits die hard. Moving on from there, we've got mini pry bar in the back here. This gets a lot of use. You can see it's been through a lot of love, a lot of tight situations. Cat's paw, mandatory to have. You always find yourself pulling out nails or something like that, you know, prying stuff. Good to have different options. In this main pouch down in the bottom, I do keep 3-inch T25 deck screws, exterior rated. Obviously, we do a lot of decking and stuff like that. I don't use these for decking. These are mainly for layout or building temporary stuff, you know, putting 2x4s together, screwing them to the table for blocking, whatever it may be. On our high-end decks, obviously, we run all Cortex. They're all stainless steel. They're hidden fasteners. We run the hidden clips and stuff. But I always keep 3-inch deck screws in my pouches. Concrete forms, we usually build them with 3-inch deck screws. That way we can unscrew everything and strip the forms at the end. So those are up here in this main pouch. Moving down into this second pouch is all my loose hand nails, 3-inch galvanized nails. Again, exterior, we run all galvanized or exterior rated fasteners, stainless steel, stuff like that. So these are all my loose nails. Moving down from there, this pouch varies. Right now, we're in the middle of framing a deck. So this is where all my strips go, all my racks for my nail gun, 3-inch galvanized ring shanks. That's what we run for all of our framing. But again, this one can vary. Like down here right now, I've got 3.5-inch Tapcons. Again, layout, bunch of different things. We very rarely use these to attach ledger boards, and usually if we do, it's just temporary, just to get it up there before we can get our bigger 1/2 inch or 5/8 anchors in there. Or if we're pulling lines and layout on concrete pads, we can run Tapcons, pull lines, stuff like that. So always good to have those. But again, this pouch varies, right? Like I said, right now we're framing. These are just kind of left over in here. We've got some shorter structural screws from laminating beams, stuff like that. It also doubles as a trash pouch, depending on what we're doing. If we're, opening packaging and stuff like that. Usually my bottom pouches on either side end up becoming a trash pouch at some point during the day or during the week. So other than that, that's my basic setup. That's all my tools. That's my rig. That's how it's set up. Again, you can see I'm out there working. I'm not just the face of the company. I'm on site every day building. So this stuff gets used, it gets abused. The hammer that I'm running, we didn't touch base on that. I've had this hammer, I think, for 3 or 4 years, maybe going on 5 years. It's I don't even remember. It's a Milwaukee. I think it's a 19 or 16 ounce. I don't remember. Waffle face. You can see this thing has been used and abused. The waffle face is almost gone on it. So it might be time for a new one. I don't know. We'll see. I like this hammer. I'm a big fan of wood handles. There's just something about swinging a good wood handle hammer. With that being said, I haven't tried a titanium handle or a fiberglass. I do have an old fiberglass handle actually that I used to use. But like I said, I've been running this for probably 4 or 5 years now, and it's just comfortable. It's not super heavy, but it's got enough power for what I do. So I like it. I'm happy with it. I don't plan on spending $200, $300, $400 on a hammer anytime soon. So we'll see what ends up happening in the future. But anyways, that's my rig. That's my setup. That's how it works. That's what I carry, and that's why I carry what I carry. Hope you guys enjoyed it.